I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
And
To the republic for which it stands.
no pressure.
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Isn't it funny how when you get put on the spot like that, all of a sudden it's gone?
That's like putting my phone code in at work. I can't remember it when you ask me to, but I could just do it memory.
Thank you very much. So we've called to order at 5:32. All right, Joanne, may I have a roll call, please?
Douglas Beebe, Kathy Buckley,
Here.
Michael Hagedorn,
Here.
Ed Marin, Christopher Michaud, Crystal Palmer,
Here.
Nicole Pupor,
Here.
Mark Sand,
Here.
Pauline Stone.
Here.
Thank you. May it be resolved that the superintendent of schools recommends to the Board of Education to approve the following agenda. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Second?
Second.
Was that Pauline?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Pauline. All right. Any questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Noes, abstains, resolution passes. Before we get too far, I really wanted to thank everyone for joining us on for our November 10th, 2020 Board of Education meeting. Sorry, Joanne. All right. May it be resolved that the Board of Education enter into executive session to discuss the employment history of a particular person or persons and collective negotiations. Also, I want to add that we may have a discussion on a proposed, pending, or current litigation. I would like just to add that to the possible discussion. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Crystal,
Mark.
motion. Crystal, will second.
Crystal will second. Thank you, Crystal. May I have any questions or discussion?
This is Dan. The only thing I have is Mike. I'm not sure how to add you into that executive session because you're calling in.
Okay, I can try to log on. Although I'm in a spot that doesn't have good reception, I might be able to hook up my hotspot. I'll try.
Mike, do you want to call
Yeah.
my phone? You could. I don't know if this. I think we can do this. You can call my phone, and I can put you on my phone, and you would be able to hear everything that way. I think. I'll put the speaker. Why don't we try that, Mike? Call my cell phone, and we'll see if that works. And I'll invite everybody else to another Google Meet, and we'll come back onto this Google Meet at 6:15. Is that right, Kathy?
Yes, we did all in favor. We did noes. We did abstains. Resolution passes. We are entering into executive session.
Okay, I'll send invites.
Okay.
More into detail on this, but the problem here is ridiculous in the fact that we were told to have remote instruction at homes. You know, everybody had to be home, but we had to feed the kids and give the kids, you know, devices or work or books or, you know, art supplies or whatever. And now they're not going to reimburse us any transportation aid for any of that. And they're also saying, and they also said that back then we couldn't lay anybody off. And I'm hearing now that they're not going to reimburse us any aid for our classroom aides, you know, and our bus drivers. So they made us, you know, I want to say we were told whether we want to or not. We didn't even have a discussion that we had to keep them. It was just the law. And now they're saying, but we're not going to fund you the way we normally funded you for that. So right now we're in the hole without those two pieces from already negative state aid run that we were told we were going to get fixed, and they never fixed it because COVID hit. From that point where we lost a lot of staff, we're now deeper $750,000 in aid when they take away our BOCES aid and our ELT rollover money. That's almost $1 million, and will be over $1 million, I think, when you take those two factors in. So it's challenging from a financial standpoint, and we'll see what happens in the near future. Jen, when you get to your report, if you want to just dovetail what was happening with the transportation aid, we can do that. But I think I'm done. I don't know if there's any questions on what I said. We can also talk about sports. Why don't we talk about sports under other items to discuss? Good spot for that.
Excellent. All right, moving forward, our next report is Business Manager Jen Parliament.
Yeah, just to dovetail off of what Dan was saying, as far as the transportation aid goes, they are the way the law reads, education law reads, is that districts can only be reimbursed for transportation of children. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to fight that for the months of March through May, maybe June, so we can get this aid. But as of right now, they're saying because of the way the law reads that they're going to have to deduct that aid from us. So they are trying to fight it. I don't know how far they'll get, but fingers crossed that we won't lose all of that. As far as the aids go, it's a stacking issue, which could be detrimental, but we really don't know what it's going to look like, because New York State would have to go through every single stack of every single student in New York. So I don't know how that's going to look. As soon as we know, we'll definitely pass that information on. But right now, nobody knows what that's going to look like. As far as, I'm just going to give you a quick update. Cafeteria is now serving hot food. I don't know if anybody, any parents out there have heard about that, what reviews we're getting. Numbers are going up. Good. I like thumbs up. Numbers are going up, especially in the elementary. The elementary kids are very excited to have hot food back. So fingers crossed we can keep those numbers going. We're not doing a real big menu yet because we're still trying to get into how it's logistically, how it's all working. But hopefully we can expand on the hot menu a little bit. Transportation is going pretty well considering what they're going through. They're doing well with keeping buses cleaned and safe and bus drivers healthy, because that is key, because we don't have a lot of subs right now. So far, so good. The Buildings and Grounds Department is hanging in there. It's been very hard to get and keep custodians. So if anybody is interested in part-time work, full-time work, custodial work, please let us know. We're having a very, very hard time finding those people. And I think that is about it, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Not at this time for me. Anyone else? All right. Unfortunately, Miss Alexis Hawks could not be here this evening. We will miss her. The next is committee reports, and if you guys are in agreement, I would appreciate it if we could move audit committee's report to our December meeting.
Kathy,
yes.
is Dan. Can I just have Joanne put in for the record that we won't give any details on the negotiations committee, but the negotiations committee did meet in between board meetings.
Okay. All right. I assume Joanne heard that. All right.
Joanne hears everything.
She does. All right, moving forward, we're on page 3 of 14. May it be resolved that the superintendent of schools recommends to the Board of Education to approve the following minutes. May I have a motion, please?
Motion. Crystal Palmer, I'll motion, or I'll second if Pauline's motioning.
All right, so Pauline motion, Crystal second. Any questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Aye.
Noes? Abstains? Resolution passes. May be resolved that the superintendent of schools recommends to the Board of Education to approve the CSE, CPSE, and 504 recommendations dated 11/10/20. May I have a motion, please?
A motion, Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mark. Any questions or discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 No? Thank you. Noes? Abstains? Resolution passes. Moving to personnel, may it be resolved the superintendent of schools recommends to the Board of Education that the following resolutions on this consent agenda, resignations, appointments, retirements, and tenure be and are hereby approved. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Thank you, Pauline. A second?
Second.
Was that Mark?
Yep.
Thank you, Mark. Any questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Noes? Abstains? Resolution passes. May it be resolved that the Board of
Hey, Kathy.
Yes?
Kathy, I know this is a virtual meeting, but we did just grant Sarah Paquette tenure, so I know we normally make a.
Yes. I have a note. I was going to finish my resolutions and then I was going to go back and thank her and congratulate her.
I just burst your bubble. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did, but that's okay. I forgive you. But we do want to congratulate Sarah Paquette for being a full-fledged member of our Beekmantown family. We're so very grateful for you and we appreciate everything you do. So thank you and you're welcome. Not thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. I don't know what the right term is, but we're very grateful that you are part of our team, and we would like you and our community to understand that. So,
Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate that.
it's a standing ovation. Yeah, there you go. That's it. All righty. Oh, see, now I moved my papers. All right. Our next resolution, may it be resolved that the Board of Education approve a 3.5% salary increase for Jennifer Stahl, District Treasurer for the 2020-2021 fiscal year. May I have a motion, please?
A motion, Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole. May I have a second?
Second.
Second was Pauline.
Yep.
All right. Do we have any questions or discussion? All right. All in favor? Oh, I'm sorry.
Aye.
Let's try this. May I have a roll call, please?
Douglas Beebe, Kathy Buckley,
Yes.
Michael Hagedorn. Michael Hagedorn. Ed Marin, Christopher Michaud,
Yes.
Crystal Palmer,
Yes.
Nicole Pupor,
Yes.
Mark San,
Yes.
Pauline Stone.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Resolution passes. Whereas Joanne Menard has been employed by the school district since July 30th, 2001 as confidential secretary to the superintendent, and therefore be it resolved, if Joanne Menard has been an employee of the Beekmantown Central School District for a period of 20 years prior to retirement, the school district shall fully pay the cost of health insurance premium for Joanne and her legal dependents for as long as she lives. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Thank you, Pauline. Second?
Second.
That's Mark.
Yep.
Any questions or discussion? All right, seeing that
I don't
there's
know
none.
if is this the right time for discussion to say thank you, or is this after we pass?
Every moment of the day is a good time for a thank you.
Thank you so much, Joanne, for everything you do for our district.
Thank you, Joanne.
All the board members really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Joanne, could we have a roll call, please?
Douglas Beebe, Kathy Buckley,
Yes.
Michael Hagedorn, Ed Marin, Christopher Michaud,
Yes.
Crystal Palmer,
Yes.
Nicole Pupor,
Yes.
Mark Sand,
Yes.
Pauline Stone.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Hold on, let me catch up. Page 8 of 14. Maybe
Page
resolve
7.
this.
Page 7 at the bottom, Kathy. Miscellaneous.
Yes. Oh, my resolution's actually printed on page 8.
Oh, okay.
All right, so going into miscellaneous. May it be resolved that the superintendent of schools recommends to the Board of Education that the following resolutions on this consent agenda: employment agreement, school safety officer, 2021-2022 budget calendar, and boys swim be and are hereby approved. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Thank you, Mark. May I have a second?
I'll second, Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole. Any questions or discussion? Seeing there's none. All in favor?
Aye.
Noes? Abstains? Resolution passes. Crystal, can I just ask for clarification? You put up your hand. Were you voting all in favor, or were you voting no?
I was voting yes.
Okay, there's just a delay, and I just wanted to make sure that there was no mistake.
Yep. It's my dial-up internet out here in Beartown. It's very slow.
I'm so sorry. All right. Next, we're on page 11 of 14 under financials. May it be resolved that the superintendent of schools recommends to the Board of Education that the following resolution on this consent agenda: financial reports, transfers, and tax collectors report be and are hereby approved. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
That was Mark.
Yep.
May I have a second?
Crystal, I'll
Second.
second.
Okay, second by Crystal. Under questions and discussion, I'm just going to jump right in. And on page 12 of 14, under D, tax collectors report, I want to let you know that is it a re-levy?
Yes. It becomes a re-levy, yes, once the county is done with all their paperwork.
All right. Is $682,357.83. All right. Any other questions or discussion? Seeing there isn't one, Joanne, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Douglas Beebe, Kathy Buckley,
Yes.
Michael Hagedorn, Ed Marin, Christopher Michaud,
You're on mute, Chris.
Christopher?
Now he's muted again.
Okay, Christopher?
Yes.
Okay. Crystal Palmer?
Yes.
Nicole Pupor?
Yes.
Mark Sand?
Yes.
Pauline Stone?
Yes.
All right. Now, I have an additional resolution for district goals. Do we want to discuss additional items to discuss before we do that resolution?
Yeah. So the district goals have been already approved by the board, and then we went through and put in a lot of the implementation steps and costs and a lot of detail. There is one, I think it's goal 4, is a new goal, and it's a new experience for me. So, and it's I know Ed has gone through this at BOCES, but it's hard. We're kind of at the mercy of the vendor that we find to do the strategic plan. So kind of documenting the steps that the vendor is going to take would be presumptuous. So that goal it's a great goal, but we're going to have to follow the direction of the people who help us with that, because it's really best practice is to go outside the district and find the right person, and we'll RFP, right? I'm sorry, not the right person, but the right company. And we'll go through an RFP bidding process for that. And then when they come in, they say, this is how we do it. And that's why that one's kind of a little vague. But I think we have it on for other items to discuss. And if nobody wants to add, delete, question, discussion, then we could just approve that agenda that you have, Kathy. That agenda item you have. Does that make sense? Did I lose everybody?
I am just hit.
Nope, still here.
All right, good.
I'm still here too.
All right. So I don't know if there's a tech issue, but on the additional items to discuss, the first item is the district goals. We have historically, maybe the last 6-7 years at least, had 2-year goals. And that worked really well because you really kind of hit your stride in year 1, and then you're just doing something well, and then you move to maybe new goals. This particular year, which you approved previously, was 3 years of goals, probably because the strategic planning that I just discussed does take some time. But are there any questions on those goals, on the implementation steps, on anything related to those?
Nope.
So if there aren't, that's when Kathy can read that agenda item for board approval. And it's not like they're not etched in stone. If there's things we want to add to implementation steps or data we want to try to capture, we can have that discussion and do that.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we have 5 members. Mark Sand, you are here?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Here we go. May it be resolved that the Board of Education approve the 2020-2023 district goals and implementation steps. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Thank you, Mark. May I have a second?
Crystal.
Thank you, Krista.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Are we good? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 No,
Aye.
thank you. Noes? Abstains? Resolution passes. All right. Mr. Mannix, did you want to move on to Tetra Tech?
Sure. I just wanted the board to know that while we have moved on to a new architectural firm, Tetra Tech was our architect for the vast majority of the EPC and the capital project. We are moving into mediation with Tetra Tech because of the, in my opinion, their inability to follow the contract and notify us of additional work items. But that's one of the reasons why we're going to move to mediation. So we're doing a lot of work there. Jen Parliament, Joanne Menard, that's board clerk, who keeps great records for us. We're pulling information to bring to the attention of Tetra Tech, our attorneys, their attorneys, and we'll move forward with our new cap outlay architect. And but I did want everybody to know that there is that ongoing issue.
All right. The next is transportation reimbursement during periods of program closure.
Yeah, so we already discussed that.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Well, what we did not discuss, it's kind of a late item, still information coming out, but athletics, New York State Public High School Athletic Association has weighed in on winter sports, as has the Cuomo administration. So it is confusing to me, but we are in the COVID, era, and there's a lot of things that are confusing to me as they shut down and become very regimented with zones and testing and all kinds of information we need to submit to the state. They did say that a lot of sports can happen this winter. Nordic sports, which will be new to Beekmantown, there's a possibility of that happening. Swimming, which you guys approved today, is right now allowed to happen, and we don't have gymnastics at this point during this season, but that's allowed throughout the state. Indoor track is allowed, but our problem with indoor track is the indoor track at the field house is not available for use right now, and they only allow 30 people in at one time. So indoor track looks like a real issue. And then, as I promise I won't shed a tear, but basketball is not approved right now, and our boys and girls hockey is not approved right now. And
I'll shed a tear for you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. The good news is, and I think Mark is a Pfizer employee.
Yep.
And there's some really good news with a vaccine coming out soon, probably from Pfizer. I know it's only 25 or 50 million doses. I've asked Mark to grab the first 2,500 off the top for Beekmantown, so see what he can do. But if we do start getting vaccines, you can see the possibility of something happening. Maybe even 2 modified seasons later in the spring. Which would be great. I'm not sure if I missed anything for sports or if there's questions that the board has for sports.
I don't want to speak for all parents, but I know there's board members that have student athletes. I think a couple of them aren't here at a soccer game, but I think Beekmantown did amazingly well across the board, and that's just my personal opinion, from the facilities upkeep to, allowing the 2 fans and with the stickers and, doing it safely. And I think our kids that are athletes were thankful for what we were able to give them. And that's just, I wanted to share that with the board.
Mark, I want to thank you for that. I was able to go to the cross country meet this weekend. I saw your son race too. And to see those kids, that looked just like a traditional cross country meet. It was great. And you're right, our boys are playing. My wife just texted me. I did peek at it. It's 0-0 deep in the second half against the #1 seed. So let's keep our fingers crossed. And then just to let you know, and I've been a firm believer, is when it's nice out, let's do things for kids. We had a tennis program these last few days. Seth Swore, our tennis coach, is just time sheeting. He's had about 10 kids out there playing tennis. And I think tonight there's a flag football game on the field with Peru and Beekmantown playing flag football. So the more things we can do for our kids, the better. And I'm really excited about the potential for some type of Nordic events, and maybe that will happen. Maybe it won't, but it won't be from lack of effort. And I have talked to our hockey coach, and he's still hoping for indoor hockey. But I said, hey, we've got a big lake, we've got cold weather, outdoor hockey might be a go. So who knows what the future brings? But if we can get our kids out there moving and being together in a safe environment, we're going to try to do that. I also want to point out that Principal Nelson not only approved Seth Spoor for tennis, but she also had this health department come in, and we do have approval for the fitness center. And I'm shocked at that, but I want to go through. I'm not the people who is are always do a fantastic job, but I got to sit down with them and go through it so I get comfortable. But the health department came in and said, this is a good program. You can move forward with allowing a certain number of kids in for indoor track, just around our little track around the gym and the fitness center. So Duffy, do you want to just Wayne, you were part of that process. Do you want to just jump in on that?
Yes, so we met, Shannon Heilman and I met with Carissa and Ryan from the Clinton County Health Department. We reviewed how she was setting up those stations in the fitness center and the indoor track. As you mentioned, Superintendent Mannix, they were pretty positive with how we outlined the plan. And I should say Shannon Heilman's plan, who's phenomenal and very organized. She's great. So they felt comfortable with that. We just have to do a couple of things and explain our air filtration system in that area, and then they'll work with us, so we should be good to go. And we reviewed cleaning and how we would sterilize. So it was a great meeting and very positive.
Thanks, Duffy. So that's where we are with sports. But Mark, thank you for bringing that up, and it has been a surprisingly wonderful event-free season for the kids.
Excellent. Is there anything else that we would like to add? Do we need an additional executive session? Or do we feel everything's been covered? Okay. All right. Ooh. May it be resolved that the Board of Education adjourn the meeting. May I have a motion?
Kathy?
Yes.
Kathy, this is Mike Hagedorn.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, sorry, I was muted. I just wanted to say one thing. I was trying to unmute and I had struggles with it, but I wanted to say thank you to the district and Mr. Mannix for being, and Mr. Meyer being very supportive of my son as one of the two swimmers who will be swimming this winter. These two kids have worked hard and really will represent the district proudly. They're doing really well, and to see them continue will be great. I've also been very involved in the flag football, so it's great to see that continuing to go. And then the one other thing was my daughters were part of the Mr. Sport playing tennis this week. So it's been great to see us, despite the COVID limitations, do as much as we can in this district. And certainly my family has benefited. So I wanted to say thank you to the board and for approving the swim and getting all the support that we have, like I said, from Mr. Mannix and Mr. Meyer.
Yeah, I do want to add to that, Mike. It's important that everybody knows this. We did approve swim, and it is Plattsburgh's helping us. Their coach is going to kind of do the paperwork for us, and they're going to allow us to practice with them, and we'll pay. We've done the same thing with other schools before. There was one or two kids before. I think there was a kid from Westport that wanted to run cross country and track, and we allowed him to participate with us, and our coaches handled all the ins and outs of that. And so it's not unusual. We always seem to step up when somebody needs a home, and it was really nice of Plattsburgh to step up to allow our two kids to use their pool. So it's not a merger. We're just kind of utilizing their coach and their facilities, but those two boys will swim for Beekmantown this year. That's great.
Yeah, and we appreciate it. Like I said, they're both doing very well and will represent well, and they need to keep going. And actually, I can tell you personally from my son, he actually performs better academically as well, having some athletic structure in his life. So it's great all the way around.
All right, excellent. Anybody want to add anything else?
Just two more items. I want to thank Mr. Hagedorn for his efforts around flag football. And one point that Mr. Mannix brought up about cross country, there is a multi-school invitational this weekend at Cadyville that Beekmantown will be participating in. Again, 2 participants per athlete, but we're hoping for a good weather, good event, good participation. So if you're in, I'll keep you I'll let you know how the results end up. So.
Great, excellent. All right, thank you so much. Anything else? All right. May be resolved that the Board of Education adjourn the meeting at 7:01. May I have a motion, please?
Motion, sorry.
Thank you, Mark. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions or discussion? All in favor?
No.
Aye.
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 Noes? Abstains? Resolution passes. All right, everyone have a lovely night.
You as well,
You as
Kathy.
well.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Good night, guys.